Right. Hey up from Road Racing DP here, and we're on for part 2 of helping Marty go faster. Now, in the first session, we did a 90-minute practice session around Silverstone in the Formula C. His first lap time was a 1 minute 59.8, and by the time we finished, it was a 1 minute 56.8. So we've made a 3-second improvement in that 90 minutes. But I have said to Marty that I can see where we've got another second to get. So we're going to try and work on that in this session. Before we do that, we're just going to go through his steering settings. Because one of my viewers, RP Glock 35, is fairly good with controller settings. He's been a viewer of mine for a few weeks now. He's been very, very helpful to quite a lot of other viewers who have been watching. Now, he said that when the update came out on this, it hasn't helped with the controller settings, so he has made a couple of suggestions here. So, Marty, if you press options and go to your controls, it'd be, the option button. Yep. Into options and controls. Now, he says here, put steering sensitivity to 0. Steering dead zone to 0. Yeah. Speed sensitivity, I think it is, to 55. Mine was on 65. Okay, and then controller filter, I think it is, to 65. That was on 0. Okay, right, okay, so you've got those settings on. Hopefully that should stay as a base setting for you. Right. Yes, that's all that he's told me about. And while I remember, if it doesn't work, we can blame Glock. Right, hang on a sec. Sasquatch, if you're viewing again, I have just remembered you did ask me a couple of questions. Which I didn't answer, so feel free to re-ask them, or just let me know when you're in the room, and if I remember them, I'll try and answer them. I know one was about T300 wheel settings. If need be, at some point I can go through my wheel settings on here. Okay, right then, Marty, for this session, obviously we've worked on quite a few things already. Now, ideally, we want to carry on from where we left off, so we'll leave the setup the same. We'll go with 18 litres of fuel. But what I am going to ask you to do is turn your racing line off. So, into options and gameplay. I think it will be. Let's have a look. Options and help. Gameplay. It's not. Gameplay, and then press R1. And it's guiding line, I think it's called. Okay, and if you've got turn indicator on, turn that off as well. Okay. The reason that I've asked you to turn the racing line off for this session is just to try and stop you from automatically following the line. Now, we've just done 90 minutes around this track, so subconsciously you should kind of know where you're going, but hopefully this will help you with that right-hander at the end of the hanger straight, because you may have been turning in where the racing line said to turn in. And because the racing line's not there anymore, you've got no choice but to focus on that patch on the side of the track. Now, it may mean that you go slower to start off with, not having the racing line on. Don't worry about it, okay? Well, as I said at the start of the previous stream, there's a good chance that you will make mistakes because you're learning new stuff. And even when we finish today, you may go and practice on your own and find that you can't seem to do any of it. but it's no different to learning to drive for real. I mean, I remember doing driving lessons, having a great one, and then next week stalling the car 4 times. And it gets very annoying, but at the same time, you know that you can do it, so don't get frustrated. Just be patient. If you have a go at time trial and it's all going to shit, my best advice is either jump in another car at a different track, or just stop, have a break, leave it, come back to it another time, and you may find that all of a sudden you go faster. Okay, so let's go into the session again. I have seen that I've got a couple of viewers, so I will repeat myself. Sasquatch said he was going off to practice what he'd learned, wasn't he? So he probably isn't watching now. Yeah. Yeah. You watch Battlefield Friends on YouTube then?
Yeah, I do.
Promoted! Well, I've pissed myself at some of them. Yeah, I do like their... No. Right, remember to put 18 litres of fuel in the car. Okay, so... Okay, you got no racing line, so remember, you're on cold tyres, take it easy. Now, two main things I want you to try and work on in this session. One of them is braking a little later than you already have been, but not braking harder. So there's some corners where you can brake a little later, and that's automatic lap time. The other thing to work on is positioning your car. Now, because you haven't got the racing line on, you're not automatically going to follow it. So you are going to have to sort of position the car yourself, basically. Well, this is the thing. There is a racing line on the track. Like here, you've got the big dark patch. So this is one thing that does get me with people that use a racing line. You don't need it because the track's got one. Okay, now obviously there's one corner that we've been really struggling on, and there's another one where I really want you to work on positioning your car, and it's Maggots and Beckett's that's coming up. So cold tyres. So when you do come around this corner, get it over to the right hand side and aim the car at that left corner. You see here, you're turning left to go round that left bit. We don't want you to do that. Way before you get to that corner, I'm talking like 200-300 meters before it, aim your car at the curb. That way you're not having to turn left. That'll gain you 2 or 3 tenths. The other place is here, which is getting that later turn in. So that's sort of the two main things two corners we're gonna work on. And like I say, the other thing is that braking a little later into some corners. So keep sort of cruising around at the moment, and I'll tell you where I want you to brake a little bit later. Now, by me saying brake a little bit later, it's not late braking, it's just places where you're braking a little too soon. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Right, okay, this corner coming up, this is one where you've been braking a little bit too soon for it. So this corner is one where I want you to brake a little bit later, but there's 2 parts to it. You have got to get the car over to the left hand side of the track, and then when you're next to the 100 meter marker board, you can start your braking. What we were doing before, you were sort of in the middle of the track and braking at about 110, 115 meters. You had a beautiful line through the corner, but you were losing a bit of time on approach to it. So the lap time from the first session went from a 159.8 down to 156.8. Now we may or may not be to 156.8 here, because I have made Marty turn the racing line off. So he's got to get used to that. And also we are working on a couple of other things now. So it may take a little time to get back into speed, into the rhythm. But we'll see how we get on. Also, we have changed his controller settings to ones that RP Glock mentioned to us, so he may have to get used to that as well. Okay, this is going to sound really daft. That corner there, you keep running wide, but you're running wide because you're turning in too soon. Yeah, too soon. Well, next time we get to that corner, we'll take it slow, yeah? Take it in about, like, slow down on the straight, get it into about third gear, and just cruise up to the corner. And we'll work on positioning the car and your actual turning in point. The rest of the lap will kind of take care of itself to a degree, because we've already worked quite a bit on that, and that'll all come together. Excuse me, choking on my coffee. Okay, get over to the right. See this blue sign? When you're at that blue sign, that's when you want to aim it towards the corner. That's how early you want to aim it towards that left-hander. That saves you from having to steer left. Okay, so cruise it up towards this corner. Slow it right down. Slow it right down. And just cruise up to the corner. So imagine we're doing this at full speed. So you get the car over to the left. 100 meters goes. This is where you go down the gears. Keep going straight. There you turn in. Remember, at that patch, you've got to get your car next to that patch and turn in. So when you get to about 50 meters, do 2 really quick downshifts. And I mean quick, like bang bang. And by the time you've done that, you'll be at that patch and then turn in. Okie doke. Go, 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 go. Not bad. Unlucky. A bit out of shape on the way and cause you to be slow. Okay, remember, at this blue sign, aim it towards the corner, but you have to be on the right hand side of the track for it to work. Ooh, that's going off. Don't worry about it. If you fuck it up and you know you fuck it up, you know you're doing it wrong, so you know to do it right. Okay, so remember, 2 quick downshifts, turn in at the patch. Better. See, you're closer to the apex. The only reason you missed the apex was because you gave it a blip of throttle. But you turned in later and got closer to the apex than you did in the whole of the last. It does, doesn't it? When you it feels like a completely different corner. But it seems weird. It's like, how can I run wide if I turn in early? But it's true. Turning later, you can make the apex. Just got to work on having a off throttle sort of moment to let it really get to the apex. Okay, this corner here, you need to be braking a little bit later. You're doing a downshift at about 110 meters. Wait, let it get to the 100. Something to try. I know this is a lot going in, but if throttle is going on, steering comes off. So for example here, see, as you get to sort of the end of that corner, your wheels are still turned, so you do need to still work on getting off the steering, but that'll come. That's probably because you're used to perhaps not actually making it round the corner, so you think you've got to steer more. So but this is all the new process. Okay, aim it towards the corner. Better, better. Okay, you've clipped the curb, but it doesn't matter. It was better. Your entry speed was faster, and the only reason you've had to slow down there is because you did get on that curb. But blue sign, aim it at the corner. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. 2 quick downshifts, turning at the patch, stay off the throttle. Go on, go, 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 go. Unlucky. It's improvement though, it's better. Don't worry about it. Okay, remember the tight corner coming up, get it to the left and don't I thought that might put you off. Okay, slow it down, cruise it here, stay left, right? Do not slow your car down until you are there. Doing that is going to gain you a couple of attempts. Yeah, make sure that you're next to the 100 meter marker board before you do a downshift or before you get on the brakes. That'll gain you a couple of tenths, because by doing that it'll give you a better line through that right-hander and a faster way out of the left-hander. Too early, but you kept it going. You're still on the road and you haven't spun it. Okay, so remember, after this right-hander, get it all the way over to the right-hand side. Don't worry about that. Get it over to the right. Ooh, ooh, ooh. At the sign, aim it at the corner. Oh, a little too much. Whoa, whoa, unlucky. Don't. I will, yes. Alex Norway, you got my message then. They're not watching shit driving, they're watching a driver improve, and they're also watching how I would help someone. Okay, so I will go and do a couple of laps. Now, one thing is which you're not going to be able to see from the camera angles you get while you're watching me is what I do with the steering. But good, RP Glock says good air. But these videos, I'll put them on YouTube, and what I would say is watch them, because you'll be able to watch yourself at how you started off, how you improved, and where we end up at. Also, when I've gone on track, you'll be able to see, because I'm using in car view, you'll be able to see what I'm doing with my steering wheel. Now, okay, you're not on a wheel, but on the exit of corners, you should be able to see what I mean by when throttle goes on, steering comes off. Now, it's not like steering fully off. It's if you're slowly putting the throttle down, you slowly bring the steering off. On a controller, you can probably get away with, whoa, big speed wobble. You can probably get away with letting go of the steering on the exit of the corner, like this one. You're getting the entry quite nice and your acceleration point quite nice, but at this point, off the steering. By this point, your car's still turning, so you can actually get off the steering quite early there. But I mean, when you watch it, if you watch it back, hopefully you'll be able to see what I do with the steering and the throttle to compare. Right, now while I'm going up here, as long as the sound's right, listen to the revs. Fourth gear. I ran a little wide because I gave it a little blip of throttle. But while I'm going down the gears, the revs are quite high because you can carry a lot of speed through there. Right, tyres are warmed up now. Okay, so around here, keep it left. 100 metres. You can still make the corner. Now, because I am on a wheel and pedals, it is easier for me to hold the throttle around the corner. So it may sound like I'm actually accelerating, but what I'm doing is holding the throttle around the corner. Which, yeah, on a controller you may find it a little more difficult to do. Whoa, I nearly got airborne then. Get off that curb. You lost it on cold tyres again. The thing is, you will make mistakes. The key is, if you know you've made the mistake, then that's where your learning comes from. And that's why it bugs me at times on this game where like, a car spins and you don't know why. Well, it's a bit wide there. Nice one. Oh, I've had to get off the throttle. That's not a bad lap though. Right, okay, let's see how you... Now, with me being on track then, I've noticed a couple of other places where we can gain a bit of time, but we'll stick to focusing on the bits I mentioned. Now, Glock, we have put the settings you mentioned onto his controller, so we'll see how he gets on. And that's what happens if you go out of rhythm. See, that rhythm that I use through that Maggots and Beckett's, it's sort of like your guaranteed way of getting through the corners, and even if you do make a slight mistake, you can recover it. Right, now just remember, we're not in a rush to go faster. The lap time will come all on its own. Now Glock does say you've got to get used to the controller settings, it will take you a few laps. Now, when you watch it, nice corner, if you watch this back, after I've just done my run, and you see how you took the left hand at Brooklands, you'll see I took it a lot faster. I mean, next time you come round to that though, I will tell you a little trick to do there. See, it only needs a little bit of direction change to aim it towards that corner. Okay, keep going, forget about that, settle down again. Two quick downshifts here. See, turned in too soon and look where you end up. Okay, remember, after this fast right left, get left. See, you brake later, you still made the corner. So you brake about the 100 metres there, or just after, and you made the corner. That's lap time. Okay, approaching this corner, don't slow down at the 100 metres. Slow down at the 50. So not this marker board, the next one. Now, you've ran wide, don't worry about it. You'll get there. That's lap time. Off your steering earlier, nicely done. And you're right, Glock, the corners do look smoother, but also he's driving better. I can't let you have all the credit. Okay, get over to the right. Only a little bit of steering to aim it towards the corner. Didn't do the downshift. You have to do quick ones now. You've got the rhythm through there. Probably because you're focusing on the first bit so much, but yeah, we'll get there, don't worry. Okay, remember, 2 quick downshifts, turn in late. Still turned in about 10 metres too early. It may seem like I'm getting at you, I'm not. I just keep telling you till you get it right. You was unsure about turning then, weren't you? Better, but patient. Need to go down the gear. Okay, remember, 50 metres again. Do your first 2 downshifts nice and quick. Better. Nicely done. You did the right thing there. You knew you had to ease off. Okay, stay to the right. Ooh. Okay, next time you approach these corners, I want to approach it really slow so that you can stop. Okay, remember, 2 quick downshifts and turn in really late. Still a little too soon, but you can keep it on the road. Glock says good coffee's worth 8 seconds. Good weed is worth -8 as well. Oh, 0.8 seconds. Down to second. Nice. Well saved. Don't slow down on this lap. Ignore what I said. Keep going. Okay, get it over to the right. Only a little bit of turning left and do it early so you're aiming at the corner. Look, keep going. We can still improve on it a little bit. Getting your entry right will make the corners very different. Okay, remember, 2 quick downshifts and a very late turning. Too soon. Keep going though. Yeah, turning in way too soon. Yep. Lucky. Right, okay. On this lap, slow it down to a stop way before Maggots and Beckett's. Unlucky, carried too much speed there. Okay, slow it right down, slow it right down. I want you to stop before that blue bridge. Get it over to the right hand side of the track, all the way over to the edge. Okay, stop. Right, from this position now, change your camera angle so you're on external view. Right, now just in the distance, obviously you can see the 100 metre marker board, which is at the blue Panasonic sign, the 50 metre meter marker board, and then the apex of the curb, right? Now, if you move forward slightly towards the blue sign and aim your car towards the apex curb, so turn it a little bit, stop, too much. Right, back up a bit. Okay, try and position the car next to the track, aiming at the apex. Okay, that's not far off. Now, there is another car's width next to you. Now, the idea is, what I'm trying to get you to do is, when your car gets into this position, you give your car just a tiny bit of steering so that you aim at that first apex curb. Now, yeah, that much sooner. Now, ideally, you'll just clip the flat part of the curb with your left wheels, but it's not a problem if you don't. By doing this, it means you take a much straighter line at that corner, and you do not need to turn left when you get there. Okay, because what you're doing is you're approaching the corner, getting to the curb and turning left. You want to go like that, see, straight line, and then you can take this corner much faster. Because you're having to turn left and then turn right, you're losing speed and it's costing you all the way through these corners. Now, you probably get it wrong the first 15-20 times you do it, because you've got to work out just how much you need to steer or don't need to steer. Now, up here, remember, for this corner, you've got to get your car next to that patch on the left before you turn it in. When you do that, you get it bang on. But when you get it wrong, it's because you're turning in about 2 or 3 car lengths too soon, and that does make all the difference. Now this corner, you took on board what I said straight away, braking at about the 100 metres and getting it right. You have been messing up that left-hander you've just gone round, but that's because you've been focusing on the previous corner. So don't worry about making mistakes there, that'll come because you know you can do it right. And up here, you've definitely been gaining time by braking that little bit later. It does allow you to carry more speed through. The difficult part is it means you get here quicker, and that's what's been happening. So you may find that between those 2 corners you have to give it a little bit more brake, because you still need to have that moment of patience around the start of the right-hander. Downshifts. I mean, you did that much better using a much straighter line. You just need to get further over to the right before you actually aim at the corner. But it will yeah, it will feel so much better when you get it right, as this corner does. See, still a little too soon, but it'll come. Okay. Excuse me. Did you get out to first? Now you see, when you do take, when you took that right hander really nice in second gear, and that's right. What I tend to do is I go up to third gear and come back down to second, but obviously it is easy to go down to first if you're in second. No worries. But you are making improvements. I mean, obviously we've improved you from the 59 down to the 56, but these little improvements that I'm sort of telling you about now, these are the things that are going to take you from a 56 into low 56s into 55s. Now, it could take quite a while to get used to, but it's like you said, when you take Maggotts and Beckett's, how I said, like aim it at the apex nice and early, it makes the whole section of corners feel right. But you have to make sure that you aim it at that apex early, but still do your downshift, your downshift, your downshift. That's how you, I mean, how it's feeling now, yeah, how it's feeling now compared to how it will feel when you do that, it's a completely different, like the worlds apart. Similar to, I mean, that corner at the end of the hanger straight, I mean, like I say, that was my nemesis, and it really pissed me off, because when you get it right, you really know you got it right, and then you're fighting all the time to get that feeling again. But the problem is, it's very easy to get it wrong, and you know you've got it wrong, but the difficult part is working out what it is that you did wrong, and in most cases it is simply turning in too soon. Okay, don't forget your tyres will be cold. The thing is, I don't think you'll really appreciate how much you've improved until you watch the video of what it was like at the start compared to what it's like now. Because you'll watch it and you'll be like, no wonder I was fucking slow. Because, I mean, the car, you had the car all over the place. So the amount of improvement you've done is phenomenal. And although the lap time isn't coming right now this second, this will all help towards lap time. And the things that I've been teaching you here are transferable to every single racetrack. Now obviously, what speed you carry through a corner, what gear you carry through, much better. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what speed or gears you'll use at different corners on different tracks, obviously that will vary, but the basics here are transferable to every track. You knew you turned in too soon, you turned out and turned back in. That doesn't work. If you know you've turned in too soon, slow down. It's the only way you'll make the corner. Okay, RP Glock wants to know if you like the controller setting. If you didn't hear that, yes he does. He does. See, now RP Glock is pretty good when it comes to his controller settings. It has been very useful to quite a few people that have been watching live streams. Nice one. Now, for what we're doing at the moment, I mean, personally, it doesn't matter to me if you mess up the whole rest of the circuit, as long as, like, for Maggots and Beckett's and the right-hander, we get those, we improve on those more and more. Hunter T2434, yes, this is the Silverstone. Ooh, unlucky. Wheel settings to controller. Alex, I'm fairly sure that your controller battery died. Alex, I'm fairly sure that when, for example, if you've been playing on a wheel and then you want to play on your controller, it does revert to the controller's stock settings, unless you've actually been in and set it the same, I don't know. And Hunter, if you want to try a wheel on this game, you definitely should, but if it's a T80 or T100, don't bother. Yeah.
Can you tell Glock that? I much appreciate that.
Glock, Marty much appreciates the controller setup. Thank you very much. Hunter, what's the best track on this game? Undoubtedly the Nordschleife. It's the hardest track. I mean, Spa, I do look well. I mean, I like Spa, I like Bathurst, I like Monaco, I like Silverstone. The Nordschleife for me is always the best track because it's the most difficult, and if there's ever a track that gives you a sense of what's the word? A sense of satisfaction for completing a lap without crashing, it's that place. Yeah, they are horrible. RP Glock says awesome. Okay, right, so let your tyres get up to temperature and then we're going to go for some lap times without really trying. So remember, you don't have to push to get the lap time, you just have to get the racing line right.
Well, what was that about?
Cold tyres. I think thing is, those little spins are spins that, I mean, even I have those, so don't worry about it. Okay, so remember, over to the right and straight line it. Better. Needed a downshift there. Remember, do your downshifts before the corners. Yeah. No. Yeah. And remember, up here, you got to turn in later than you have been doing. I mean, that was at about the right time, but speed weren't quite right. But as long as you can get the turning point right, I mean, you may get it wrong, but if you get the turning point right, you can work on getting the apex and the speed right. Yeah. You're struggling a little bit around turn 1, but that's because you're not using all of the track before the corner. You need to get more over to the left, it'll stop you having that lift off. That's going wide. Can you keep it on? You kept it on the road, that'll do. Okay, slow it down. Nicely done. Good patience there. Good timing of a downshift. If you'd have done it any sooner, you'd have spun. It's going wide. Well saved. See, big turn left there. That's cost you here, and it's going to cost you here. Did the right thing to make the corner though. You went down the extra speed. Yeah. Hunter, I'll answer that question in a minute. Got the turning point right. Downshifted too late, but you got the turning point right. Yep. Right, pushing a little bit too hard. Settle it down a little. Remember, slower to go faster. Okay, make sure you stay to the left of the track up here. Unlucky. It's alright, you stayed left. That's what I wanted you to do. Unlucky. Whether you know it or not, that moment then was connected to what happened at turn 1. So don't worry about getting that corner wrong. You stayed left on approach to turn 1, just didn't make the apex, and that's what caused that then. So you got the bit right I wanted you to, the rest will come. Don't worry about it. You didn't spin it. That's a bonus. If you can keep it going on the track, then you're faster than if you spin it. Okay, get it over to the right. Straight line it. Too much left. See, now that you've done the straight lining, you're seeing that when you're having to turn left, it is costing you. So you need to get it turned in towards the apex sooner. Okay, 2 early downshifts, nice and quick. Yeah, you know what you did there. It's alright. I mean, okay, your downshifts were very, very early then, but bit wiggly. Do you know why you went wide there? Yep. But you know why, so you know not to do it on the next lap. I mean, this track is a lot about rhythm, so at the moment you're in a phase where you're out of rhythm, so you will find a lot of the corners quite difficult. Don't stress, don't get annoyed. Just sort of try and, I don't know, perhaps back off a little bit, go a little bit slower for a lap, and focus on those racing lines, and the lap time will come. Because what's happening is you make a mistake on one corner, it's on your mind, then you make a mistake on the next corner, and that's how you're out of rhythm. Okay, while you're having a bit of a calm down lap, I'll catch up with a couple of messages. I haven't looked, Alex, whether on a controller you have those particular settings. I don't know. but I know on my wheel I'm something similar to what you've got there. Hunter, longest race I've done on project cars. I don't know really. I've not really done long races. What I've tended to do is like instead of doing a long race, I've done sort of 5 or 6 hours online racing at many different tracks, or perhaps when I've done live streams, I've done like anywhere up to sort of 6-7 hours driving different cars at different tracks. So I've done many hours of racing, but not any sort of really long races. Although, because I've watched Le Mans over like the last 2 days, it has tempted me to do a Le Mans 24 hour. But the problem with that is I would have to put the computer car into drive a few stints so that I could get something to eat and get some sleep. But the problem is I don't know whether they're gonna, like, if I'd wake up and find that the computer car pitted 2 hours ago, wanting me to take over. I haven't sort of looked into it, so probably what I will do is have a look into how the 24 hours works exactly, and then perhaps see what I can do there. Also, it could be quite boring if I live streamed it and people came to watch and all they could hear was me snoring while the computer car's driving. But there we go. Yeah. Yeah, take a breather. Take a breather. But the thing is though, I mean, for anyone that's watching, they've probably done a very similar thing to you, which is you make big strides and then all of a sudden you can't seem to be able to do it again. And this is what I said to you before we started this second session, isn't it? That we may not get close to those times because you may find that for whatever reason you just don't seem to be able to do it. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. And it's at this moment where a lot of people would go, oh fuck this is shit. But it's no. Well, I mean, even I go through phases like that, like you're going through at the moment. I mean, with the amount of time trialing that I've done on different games. Yeah. Yeah, but then, I mean, the next day I came on and within 10 minutes I'd knocked a second off my lap time. I'd like knocked a second off my previous best. Whereas when I was out of rhythm, I was, a second off my lap time? So compared to being off rhythm to what I did the next day, within 10 minutes was a 2-second gain. And although it's only a game, a big part of it is your mental state when you come to play a game. I mean, it's like you go and play FIFA when you're in a really foul mood and it'll piss you right off. You play FIFA when you're in a really good mood, it might annoy you, but it ain't going to piss you off.
This is it. I know this is a totally different game, but on Battlefield, if you go on that game and you think that you're going to kill everyone and all this bullshit,
Yeah.
and you go and try hard, and that's when you fucking suck.
Yes.
You're not even try.
Yeah.
You're right. Like most
Oh yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah.
That's why I can't play Battlefield over the stone. So I'm not relaxed. I'm not the same. They're not even trying. It's when you panic. It's like, I keep saying this to all the guys. If you run into an enemy and start panicking, you can't get the attitude going hard.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, when I was a few years ago, when I was like sort of started doing my F1 racing, I couldn't drive unless I'd had a smoke. I think the nerves got the better. I seemed to drive better when I'd had a smoke. Now, I haven't smoked for a long time now, but even then I had a difficult transitional period of going from driving high to driving sober. And it wasn't like I'd get really frustrated at making mistakes. Whereas when I was high, I was chilled out. If I made a mistake, it didn't bother me. I just carried on. But I mean, I've had to learn about, okay, this is pissing me off, right, just take a breather, I mean, we did a few online races the other night, I mean, in the Formula A, and I think I won one race by a bloody mile, but in the next one, all of a sudden the car handles like a bag of crap. Now, I went from being quite talkative and happy to not saying anything at all for some time, and that was me sort of going, right, okay, I just need to focus my thoughts. But it got to the point where I was like, right, okay, I can't, I'm going to lose my temper, I need to have a break.
I have to keep my mic, because your attitude towards other people, even though you don't realise you're doing it, you're in a pissed off state.
Yeah.
Everybody does it now and again, you say something and you're a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex is coming out with some interesting comments there. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do here. Alright, when you're ready to go out the pits again, I'll come out with you, but you follow me, right? And we're going to go nice and slow. And I'm just going to drive on my racing line. And all I want you to do is just try and follow me, so that perhaps you may be able to see where, okay, I'm positioning my car differently to you. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to position your car exactly the same while you're following me, but just have a look at where I sort of am positioning my car. You're having a smoke. Ooh. Well, the first one is I don't know, I haven't transferred it yet. Oh, excuse me. But if you go on to if you find my YouTube channel, when they go on, there'll be the latest two to go on. I will. Well, I'll set them transferring today, as long as they don't error. Well, what it tends to be with Twitch is, if you do a video over 2 hours, quite often you can still send it to YouTube, but you either have to split it into 2-hour videos, or just under 2 hours, or split it into 15-minute clips. Now, a lot of my videos have been erroring, saying it won't convert the file type. I've looked up on forums and what other people are mentioning about it, and no one's come up with a fix for it. But I also have another issue, which is, like, I mean, Alex will know this, we did a race at Monza in the Aston Martins the other night, and I rolled him over, and then he drove down the road on 2 wheels and around a corner. Now, I went to create a highlight of that moment, and it wouldn't let me. It just would not show me about 25 minutes worth of footage around that time. So it annoyed me. Well, I have no idea, but it was interesting. But that's why I wanted to get the highlight of it, because it was proper funny. But it wouldn't work, and it annoyed me that much that I ended up emailing Twitch, saying, look, there's a problem here, and went through all the details of it. And surprisingly, they actually replied and asked if I was broadcasting from a PS4, and asked for a link to one of my videos and the timing points where this is happening. So I ended up sending them quite a long email with loads of details, and surprisingly they got back. I mean, they've actually got a sense of humour, because I started it off with, I hope you got lots of coffee and biscuits because you're going to need them, and their first comment back was, I had all the coffee and the biscuits, and now I'm suffering from a caffeine overdose. So they've got a sense of humour. But they did tell me that what happens on Twitch is that they, although, like, for example, we've done 2 hour, like 1 hour 40 minutes worth of video, I'll cruise round if you're there. Yeah. Yeah, although we've done like a 1 hour 40-minute video, Twitch actually records it in 30-minute chunks. Now you can export a 2-hour video to YouTube, but really it's 4 30-minute video clips put together. Yes, although on YouTube it's one big part. Now, don't forget your tyres are cold. Now what this said is that if one of those 30-minute clips gets corrupted, then obviously you lose that bit of footage. Because I asked the question, well, how come, like, if you split it into 15-minute chunks, can it transfer, say, 12 clips, but then 13 and 14 will error, saying cannot convert video file type? Well, it's because that 30-minute file has got corrupted. Now, they did say that at the moment there isn't a way to fix it, but they are working on it. But it is quite annoying. Okay, let me know when your tyres are up to temperature. Okie doke. Well, I'm not going to go super fast, so I'm just going to focus on racing lines. If you can, or at least while you're following me, if you can see somewhere that I'm positioning my car where you're not, perhaps somewhere where it's closer to the edge of the track. You see how late I turned in then? Well, sometimes it's best not to try and work out what people do. Oh, I've missed the apex there, but... it's alright. I will start picking the pace up eventually. Oh no, you're crashing into me. Oh, I've gone wide now. See, now that's why you have moments there carrying too much speed between those two corners. Right, okay, seeing as you are staying quite close, I am going to pick the pace up. You see how much time you lost to me there. I'll back off a little bit, and that time gap there is all down to the approach and the rhythm. Now don't try and push to catch me up, because if I do pull away I'll back off. Just try and remember what we've been working on. I'm a little away from the apex there. Oh, looking in the rearview mirror. I couldn't see everything you did there, but I think most of what you lost then was in the final sector of that those corners. But usually when you lose it in the final part, it's because you've done one of the earlier parts a bit wrong. Okay, keep that speed up. Oh, I've gone wide there. I thought you was having a go then. But it's helping you go quicker, so let's keep it up. Oh, going wide, am I? Oh. So I've had a big left turn now, which means I've messed up Maggots and Beckett's. Okay. On the next lap round, when we get to Maggots and Beckett's, we're going to go slow through there. So it's alright. So I saw that coming. I saw it coming, don't worry. Yes, and on this next lap, we'll go slow round Maggots and Beckett's. Just want to point something out to you. Turned in too soon then I did. You're carrying a little bit too much speed into that left-hander, which means you're slow on the exit, so go slower between the corners so you can go faster on the exit. Okay, when I get round this right-hander, I'm going to slow down, so if you do the same. Okay, now obviously I've been telling you about straight lining this bit. Now the reason for it is, the straighter you go here, get your downshift done here, gives you a tighter line. Downshift here allows you to get over to this apex. Downshift here allows you to get to this point. When you see this curb on the right of us,
Yeah.
you need to be full throttle when you're next to that curb. See, this is the whole aim of the rhythm and the line through these corners, so that when you get to that curb there, you're full throttle. Now it may seem a bit daft, but actually that's how it works. A lot of people that lose time through this section of corners are off throttle here. You shouldn't be. You should be full throttle, and the only way to do it full throttle is to straight line that first bit, do your downshift rhythms, which allows you to be in either third or fourth gear when you're next to that curb, and you can just boot it and go round the corner. Yep, go on then. Unlucky. You tried it though. And the only reason you went wide was you just carried a little bit too much speed through the middle part of those corners, which came from the entry. Remember, use all of the road. Can you recover it? You have done, well done. Oh, dirty airs had me there. You did it quick. Slowing down too late for that one. It's easily done though. You take a corner nice, fuck up the next one. I always used to have a problem of if I see a purple sector flash up, I fuck up the next corner. Okay, good sign here of the difference getting the line right can make. I backed out. I'm behind you. You're alright. Go on. I only went. There's a few times where I've got close or gone past, just so that when you watch the footage back, you can visually see the time advantage. Whoa! Oh, sorry. Yeah, the time advantage made where, like, I'm following you. If you're slightly offline, the amount of time I gain on you by being online is huge. Are you still on track, or you gone back to the pits? Right. Okay. Let's catch up with a couple of messages. Dawson, hello, how are you? I need help to bet the one race. Time for FBFA. Alex, I've not changed car, just so that he's got a a constant. Also, I hate the bloody Formula A's. I mean, the thing is, these Formula C's are fairly decent little cars. So if someone's struggling to drive one of these, putting them into a Formula A would just be cruel. So now with the open wheelers, I really like the Formula C and I really like the Formula B. The Formula A I'm really not a big fan of. So, come on, keep going. We've only got about 10 minutes of this session left. Right, done well to keep it on the road there. It's one thing, okay, you're making quite a few mistakes now, but for the most part, you're keeping it on the road. So if you are in a stage of making mistakes, as annoying as it may be, if you can actually keep it, this is what, experience is. This is what people like me and Kev mean by, and Steve mean by, being on track, doing laps, make mistakes. How do you recover from it? Because if you know how to recover from mistakes, then if they ever occur, you know what to do. Nicely done at the end there. Okay, you're carrying a bit too much speed on entry into the corner. Other than that was a good corner. A little too late on the brakes for the right-hander, cost you at the left-hander. Yeah, if you don't get off the steering, it is costing you a bit of time. can you save it? Can you save it? Well saved. A little too late on the brakes for that corner. Ooh. A good sign here of what different racing lines do. I mean, when you watch this back and you watch this particular bit, you'll see why perhaps like people like myself are a little bit have been quicker. And that's because if you're a car's width offline and I'm on the racing line, it's faster. It is as simple as that. Now for those that are watching, that have sent messages, I will get to them in a few moments. I've got my iPad next to me. It's just if I read them while I'm driving, I'll crash into the back of Marty. And I'm helping him, not meant to be hurting him. Yeah. Unlucky. Okay, brake early, brake early, brake early. Now, if I get half a chance, depending on how long's left in the session, 5 minutes. Okay. Go over to the right, go over to the right. Ooh, I nearly followed you. Oh, I've gone wide, avoiding the back of you. And I got a corner cut penalty. You nasty bastard. Excuse my language. Right, there's not long left of the session, so keep going around. Oh, it's done that weird sound glitch again. I shall catch up with a few of the messages. Hi, Ayrton Nunes. At the moment, I'm not going to drive an F1 car. I've just been doing a session with Marty here, trying to help him improve his gaming experience on project cars. Bolton lad, what's new cars like? The new cars are very, very good. Cheesecake, you were very, very right. I was concentrating. Calling me ignorant, okay. Bolton lad, if you want to unfollow, that's entirely up to yourself, but I'm actually helping someone helping somebody out here, which is my main aim for doing this stream at the moment. Now obviously, because I've got a full screen on here, you should be able to see that I don't have the messages popping up on my screen. I have them popping up on an iPad next to me, but it's a little hard to follow someone and help them out with what they're doing on track while looking to the right of me and reading messages. But there we go. So, Cheesecake, you're right. Cheesecake, I think you could be right. And by the way, your name is Mint. Mint Cheesecake. You know what? It makes me remember when I was living in Nottingham and not far away from the Australian Cheesecake Factory. Oh, heaven. Absolute heaven. Yeah. Now, well, we haven't got long left anyway now. Now, the stupid thing is, for people like Bolton lad, he's probably the kind of person that probably could have benefited from everything that I've done with Marty today, but because he's unfollowed me, oh no, he understands. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you very much. I mean, what I've been doing with Marty here, we've done 2 90-minute practice sessions, and the simple reason for that is Marty, with a few cars, has found it quite difficult to drive some of the cars, so he's not getting much out of his gaming experience. So I decided to offer him some help to see if I could help him in general driving and improving on his lap time. So we spent about 3 hours now doing that. Richie, I'm not inviting anyone in because this live stream's going to end in about 5 minutes time. And then I'm going to desperately go to the toilet. I'm either then going to do a little sort of blast on my own around Cirque de la Sarf, or I'm going to go and do myself some dinner. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, back to what I was doing with Marty. So, I mean, if there are people out there that have struggled with gameplay on this, struggled with making corners, keeping the cars in a straight line, or anything like that, then watch these 2 videos that I'll put on YouTube, because I know for a fact Marty is going to watch them. He's going to watch the first one, watch how his driving was, and probably be quite embarrassed. But as he watches through it, he'll be able to see the improvement that he's made. And there'll be no way that he could sit there and go, oh well, I'm crap. He's not crap. He was just driving in a way that the game didn't like. Whereas now he's had some advice of how to go about approaching a racetrack. Little things like, there's quite a few corners where when you get there you've got to be patient for half a second and then you can floor it out of a corner. But there we go. Right, let's just quickly change my screen here. So Marty, how do you think your practice has gone?
Well, appreciate you, Dave. There's many people out there, Dave, and yet you get an unfollow.
It's alright, it's still with us. My bloody lighter's packed up. I only bought it 2 days ago.
Nothing weird, is there?
No.
Yeah, I think eventually around Silverstone, I think
It is a stepping stone, and there is a lot to learn. But when whether it's this car or any other car, you take it to any other track now, and if you go off, then you'll be able to sit there and think, okay, what did Dave tell me to do when this happened in that Formula C? Because what you can do, I mean, you can go to, I picked Silverstone for a reason, and that's because it's got long fast straights, it's got fast corners, and it's got slow corners. Now obviously a lot of tracks out there has those, like it's either got fast corners or really slow corners, so you'll be able to compare other tracks to corners around here. I mean, for example, the knockoff Suzuka, if you're going through sector 1 there and you're going off, you can think, well, hang on, that's a lot like Maggotts and Beckett's. How did I approach that? And it'll take a bit of time, but as you do more racing, you'll realise, okay, perhaps I just need to be off the throttle a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think the steps that you made from the very start to here is a massive jump, and I can honestly say, of all the people that I've helped, you haven't been the worst, and you've made mistakes just like a lot of those have, and you've had to sort of try and learn a new way of driving like a lot of those people have, and it isn't easy, and it does take time, because I mean, it's like, for me, what I do on track, a lot of it's down to muscle memory. My feet do their own thing, my hands do their own thing. It's all automatic, like driving a real car. And if you're on a controller, it's going to be very similar. So if you've been used to doing one thing, trying to learn something completely different is difficult. And a good example of that is when I got my T300 wheel, the brake pedal has an inbuilt dead zone on it. Now, my previous pedals didn't. And I really like just giving it a tiny little dab of brakes, but on F1 I couldn't get on with it, having this dead zone there that I couldn't turn off. So I actually had to learn a new driving style with my braking foot to be able to keep up my lap times. It took me about 2-3 weeks, but then I was able to win races again. So it can take time, and it can be frustrating, and you do on occasion have to keep telling yourself, like, come on dumbass, you've got to do this, come on dumbass, I've got to do this. But once you get past that initial point, it'll become automatic, and once that happens, it'll be so much easier. Oh, and Richie, how did I become so popular? What can I say? I'd just be
It's just a fucking beast. You got 29 viewers and 39 viewers on
I know. My highest has been quite higher than that, but it depends on what time of day that you're on, and stuff like that. I mean, I came on. I mean, RP Glock knows this because he was a big part of it. I couldn't sleep one night, so I came on at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Within half hour, I had about, I don't know, 10-15 viewers. And by 5-6 o'clock, I was up to about 40. By 7 o'clock, when I'm thinking, right, I need to go and get to sleep, it starts 60, 65, 70. Glock sat there saying, you can't go to bed yet, mate, you can't go to bed yet, mate. I ended up on something like 89 viewers. And it's like, really, guys, I've got to go to sleep. But Alex, okay, alright, okay. Marty, we'll let Marty answer this one. Alex has posted a question. It says, on my stick shift, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and R. Is R race speed? No, Alex, I hope you were joking, but R is for reverse. Alex is alright. Alex is a good lad though. Right, I am gonna have to bring this live stream to an end though, because I'm desperate for the toilet. Honestly, I've got to go to the toilet, otherwise I'm going to wet myself. Yeah, I really don't want to do that. Right, so no worries. Right, I am going to bring this live stream to an end, although I don't know, give me 5-10 minutes and I may come on and just do a quick LMP blast around Le Mans. So if you're interested in watching that, feel free to come and have a watch and we'll see how we get on with that. But other than that, he's been Marty, he's been improving. I've been Front Row Racing DP, otherwise known as Dave, and I shall see you all soon.